What's up, you guys? It's Cam. Uh, I'm just here to talk today. As you can tell, I'm on break, clocked out, whatnot. But this is real heavy. It's just something serious. I think it's time that we talk about what Kanye West did. The recent tweet or rant, as you guys would say, he was exposing an issue that I'm gonna start talking about on this channel. Male and child molestation, and the effects of what happens to us when it happens to us, how we act, the things that we've done, how it made us feel, just the overall experience. You know, a lot of people, which I'm all for shaming stuff that should be shamed, but we don't have a clear, concise understanding. Well, it's not even understanding. I'll say it like this. We're not honest. We're not honest about this situation. It's a lot of people. And in internet fashion, which is why, I'm a firm believer in also, I share what I'm ready to share with the internet when I'm ready to share it, which Kanye might be ready to share it. Yay. Sorry, Ye. Ye might be ready to share it. And just thinking about that, bring some things up. You have to be ready. A1, you have to be ready to be misunderstood, hated on, chastised, ridiculed, assumed. You have to. It's because you're Kanye West that people are even having the outlook about this that they are. Because majority of people who said that they were molested have done these things or have experienced these things. Me being one of them. So I said that to say this. We don't really talk about how molestation affects men. How it affects men when we're young, how it affects men through our growing adolescent stage, how it affects men in our preteens, how it affects men in our teenage years, and how it affects men in adulthood. We don't talk about it. And when we do talk about it, we talk about it amongst other men or with our therapist, which I guess is the only one that you should be wanting to talk with. But when it's a cry for help and when things have festered and you might not have turned and it might not seem like those things are helping, what do you do? So his tweet said that when he was younger, him and his cousin, which they were young, they were both children. Nobody was an adult, and then there was one child. Nobody was a teenager and somebody was an adult. They were both children. And what happens with most males, we learn about sexuality through porn or the male figures in our life. And based on how those are introduced to us, determines pretty much a little bit about how life will go. We all, men, I'm talking to men now. I don't know about women. I can't speak for women. I'm not a woman. Can speak for men, or at least attempt to. Men, we find porn, or somebody gives us porn, or we discover porn, or we find it in our dad's stash, our mom's stash, their room, whatever. We discover these things. And then what do? In the man group, in the he-man girl likers club, woman lovers club, the he-man woman lovers club, we start sharing it. That's what we do. We share it. 2 instances in my life, and I'll show you, and I'll kind of divulge since we're gonna have this conversation. So you find it, you get introduced to it, somebody gives it to you. In your adolescent brain, you don't know what's going on. In your brain, the way that your brain is wired to work, you just discover yourself physically by just grabbing and tugging on stuff since you were little. You don't know the concept of master debating, or you don't know the concept of intercourse yet. Your mind isn't even mature enough on a level to, if that were to happen to you, it would make healthy pathways in your brain based off of neuron and synapses and all these other things, right? Okay. You think that this is how people interact if you were touched. So going back, I think I'm getting too far in myself. We're gonna go back to the point. So corn, you find it, you watch it, you bring it to your friends, you brag on it, you show it off like it's cool, all of that, right? So now you've transferred that energy on to whatever person you show this video, magazine, picture, website to, so on and so forth. Now you both are traumatized. Now you both are sharing trauma because you guys are being shocked. You only know your genital area. You don't know another woman's. You don't know, especially if you're 6 and 8, you don't know what a grown woman's genitals are even supposed to look like. So you got that around you. And like I said, it transfers. Now all it takes is a meeting, some alone time, some playtime with other kids to where somebody says, let me see yours. And y'all show each other y'all genitals. This is what happens. This is why parents say you need to watch who's around your children. This happens. And it's not necessarily with malicious intent because, and I have to watch how I'm speaking because there's kids around. It's not malicious intent that they're doing this. They're doing this out of curiosity and trauma because you were traumatized from your first encounter with sexuality outside of you discovering your own body, which was porn, which is fantasy, which is perverted, which is meant for adults. We've already said your brain can't make this up. We don't know what to do with this. We can't even fathom what this means. So after that, like I said, you're alone. You start experimenting, y'all start touching each other. More trauma. This is normal. Because if you're doing something and you see humans doing something and it's not killing or it doesn't look like it hurts or it looks enjoyable, your kitty brain is going to somehow take that and say, hey, let's try this. We're bored. We're just literally doing stuff. This is how majority of people experience sex for the first time. This is their first sexual encounter. This is their first sexual act. The way that we received Kanye's message and cry for help and flipped it back on him like he was some type of cognizant adult who rapes children is disgusting. Because I know majority of people being over-sexualized or over-sexualizing everything or can't stop humping or can't stop having children out of wedlock and leaving broken homes have probably been molested. Sex workers have probably been molested. Strippers have probably been molested. Okay? But I think it's about high time that we have this conversation. Molestation happens against males a lot more than we're willing to accept and talk about. Whenever we talk about men being in the vulnerable position of rape or molestation or sexual subjectivity, or sexual justification. I guess that's the right way to say that. Some of y'all gonna clown me. But I don't care. Being the object of sexual objectification, molestation, and rape, we shy away from that. Like the loose pit bull in the neighborhood. We don't like to talk about it. Nobody likes to think about men being vulnerable like that. I remember I had a friend who he was being vulnerable about a situation. And nobody would listen. Nobody. He was around a couple of females. He was around a couple of guys, so this was kind of balanced crowd. But tears welled up in his eyes because he tried so hard to just talk about his situation. It was in a group setting, and most of the men weren't going to talk about their experience being raped or molested or touched or anything. But women were sharing. And he goes to share, and nobody, it didn't matter what gender, race, nobody listened. Nobody. And it got heated. It got heated to the point to where people had to take him out. But he became enraged because how come it activated his trauma response. Nobody's listening. I'm not safe. So he blew up. He just could not take the fact that this man was being vulnerable. Even after we had to dispel the situation. And people are like, well, how did this happen? I had to say, y'all really wasn't trying to listen to him. And then after a while, they kind of talked me down too. So I just kind of left it alone because, hey, it's not my story. I have my way of getting my point across where I'm going to be heard. But they still couldn't fathom the fact that this man had been accosted and traumatized sometime in his life. And there's a lot of men that I know with the same exact story. It's a lot. So we're going to talk about this more on this channel specifically. But the vulnerability that men need and we aren't getting is alarming on this subject. On this subject. It's not been talked about. Even domestic abuse against men is laughed at socially. And it's getting worse to the point to where it cannot be ignored anymore. So it's crazy because the amount of people that I seen talking about Kanye West and making fun of him and calling him all these names, I know have been molested. Most of us have been molested. Most of us have had a weird sexual encounter with either older people or the people of our same age because we all talk about it when we're comfortable with each other. But it's crazy that people act like Kanye can't have this just because he's rich and famous. And then there's a whole nother thing, which I guess I have to reach out to and talk about on another show. But the fact that because he's rich, nobody wants to listen to him as well. And they'd rather paint him as the monster of a rapist instead of a child who's a victim. And guess who's mainly doing it? His kind of the female gender. Sad world, man. But hey, we'll be back. We'll be back with more. It's your boy Cam. Holla.